look at the patch notes too well yet. Hey Tacticians, welcome to the Teamfight Tactics patch 9.18 notes. This week our focus is on a few of TFT's core systems, reworking the item distribution with the goal of increasing the variety of experiences from game to game while providing a more fair experience over the course of a single game. We also made changes to XP breakpoints, champion pool amounts, and champion drop rates. Last but not least, Nico's help should help you complete those 2 stars and chase after the 3 stars, and is the first consumable item in the mode. Outside of gameplay, keep your eyes open for 3 new Legends of the Star Guardian. Keep your ears open for a new soundtrack. Alright, interesting. They nerfed the Aeon Void, but they fixed a load of bugs that were affecting Void, so they are better in some ways. Yeah, I don't really like that. Yeah, it's like 10% AD loss on Kassadin, but that's not what made the comp broken, exactly. Alright, Mystery Box System. Change how items are distributed in PvE rounds. The goal is to keep a variety of experiences across many games, but also to make the game more fair over this course of a single game. Common boxes contain gold, champions, or Nico's help. I think Nico's help is really overpowered, by the way, and basically I would be trying to get Nico's help whenever I could now, because it means I'm gonna be able to 2-star units much easier, like key units. Like in that last game I could 2-star my brand, and that really helped me get to level 9. Also, like, I can imagine it just being really good for champions like Draven, or, you know, legendary units, or like, even if you're having like let's say a hard time upgrading a key unit like Ashe or something, it could be useful. So I think this has honestly become the most overpowered drop right now, and I would be hoping to get as many Nikos as I can, basically. It's pretty funny also, like I played a couple games and they're throwing out champions now, and like you can sell the useless champions, so like you're getting extra gold actually. Alright, rare boxes contain spatulas, full items, gold items, Nico's help. Like, Nico's help should be rare only. Like, Nico's help is as good as spatula in a lot of cases, if not better in my opinion. Void Assassin got stronger. Yeah, I hate that. Anyways, every player gets approximately the same number of boxes across a single game. Okay, well that's good, but I think the distribution is really what makes it unfair. Like, I actually think the game might be a bit less balanced than before, because there's so many different things you can get. It would be better if they just dropped items and nothing else, but I guess they want to make it more variety, but it's actually a lot harder to balance this way now. Every player gets approximately the same number of item components across a single game. Okay, that's good. Nico's help. Place on a champion to create a 1-star copy of that champion and add it to your bench. Yeah, that sounds really cool. I think it's just an overpowered item right now, but okay. XP adjustments. Due to the slightly inflated gold from the new loot system, we've made some adjustments to how much XP it takes to level. Yeah, they basically make it more expensive to level every round. Every level, so 10 to 12, 18 to 20. So like you can't level up to 5, for example, immediately after the first carousel, like after the first PvP carousel, and unless you have a ton of gold. And I'm not sure if I'm the biggest fan of that. It's going to change the way the game is played quite a lot. I played a few games and it felt very unfamiliar when you should be leveling up and when you shouldn't be, just because of this. So probably you need to... The game's gonna change, basically. It's gonna change, and the way you should level up, the times you should level up will be different than before, I think. Like, you... And it means you're gonna have to use your gold more wisely and find out how to, like, figure out when you want to econ and when you don't. Like, a lot of games, I think you're just gonna be stuck on level 7 and you're not gonna be pushing level 8 at all now. Last game, somehow I got Nico's help, which allowed me to high roll, and then I could get to level 9, but I still lost to Void Assassins. Anyways. But yeah, it means the game's gonna get... It's gonna be harder to get to level 8, which means that those late game team comps will probably be like tougher, right? Sick Motion. Yo, what's up, dude? That's a friend from my poker days. Yeah, I'm playing TFT all the time now. Thanks. What is this? Yeah, so I think that level, like, the game's just gonna speed up. Like, late game comps won't be as strong right now, basically. So I thought that they would keep like the level 8 XP required the same, because that's what they indicated earlier, but actually level 8 XP increased as well. So Draven comps are going to be much weaker now. I thought it would be the opposite and Draven comps would actually be stronger, but no, it looks like Draven comps will be weaker. Champion tier drop rates. We've made some minor adjustments to how likely which tier champions will appear at a few different levels. We're hoping these make clearer early, mid, and late game phases. Level 3 by tier. Okay, so the key thing here is that you can't get 0.5% drops at level 6, which means you can't get six nobles. Oh, that's not Sick Motion, the top laner. That he plays online poker, guys. Anyways, 0.5% level 6 is going to 0%. That's pretty huge for sure. Also 3% to 5%. So it's easier to get 4 cost units at level 5, which means you can start... You're going to be able to pivot into like your comps a lot earlier. Like if you pick up an early Draven, if you pick up an early Gnar, you're gonna... That's gonna happen a lot more often now. So you're going to be able to pivot into those comps a lot earlier. However, like nobles are going to be much harder to find at level 6, which is probably a good thing. Champion pool sizes. It's proven a bit too consistent to get 2-star through tier 3 champions. So we're shrinking the bag size to reward players who build the path less taken. I don't know what I think about this. Like, at the start of each patch, it feels like there's a lot of variety and people are trying new stuff, so it's easy to get stuff. Like, last patch, it was pretty easy for me to get Kennen and Ashe at the start of the patch, but right now, or at the end of the patch, Ashe and Kennen were so contested that they were hard to get anyways. However, with the addition of Nico's help, I guess that's going to negate that problem as well, so... Nico's help is going to help this. Item stacking and clarity. We took a pass at all the items to ensure that they stack in a sensible way, and that we're informing you when they don't. Adding copies of items that do not stack will now cause them to bounce off any champion they are placed on. Unique items will be labeled as such. Okay, that's a good change that needed to be shown, but that's not too interesting. New 9-piece bonuses. We're adding new 9-piece chase options for some of the traits that can be completed with spatula items. These are not teasers for new champs this time, but we like the high-end chase options, so we wanted to explore a few more. Assassin 9-piece, Sorcerer 9-piece. Okay, these are things that will almost never happen, so I don't think it really matters too much. So I'll not go into it too much. I don't think this will be meta at all. Okay, thanks, Sick Motion. I'm enjoying it right now. Wild. We've added some extra power to 4-piece Wild so that the 4 units actually get a benefit from 4 Wild. We think it's going to be Wild. All your allies gain 12% attack speed, up to 5 stacks, and their basic attacks cannot miss. Yeah, I think this is a pretty big buff. And so I definitely think that Wild is going to be much more viable now, and I definitely want to try some Wild comps out. There's quite a lot of Wild comps that I would be interested in trying out, like Wild with Assassins, Wild with Shapeshifters, Wild with Sorks. So, like, it seems like Wild got buffed quite a lot, and yeah, that's definitely something worth exploring. General trait adjustments. Okay, Elementalist Golem armor 20 to 40. That definitely makes it more tanky, and I think I have noticed the difference. Elementalists were already quite strong, so I think it could mean the Elementalists in general will become one of the strongest traits in the game, maybe. Well, it already was very strong and very well used. Knight damage reduction. 15, 30, 55 to 15, 35, 65. Again, it's kind of similar. Like, I don't think 4 Knights was bad at all before. It was a very good early to mid-game comp you could use until you wanted to go into something else. But even a lot of end-game comps had 4 Knights in them. Like, you had 4 Rangers, 4 Knights, you had, like, Draven comps with 4 Knights. So, I think, again, this will make those comps even stronger. Like, I can see 4 Rangers and 4 Knights being one even stronger, and Draven comps with 4 Knights being even stronger, so that's kind of scary. And I guess those will be some of the familiar builds that I'll be going back to at the start of the patch until later. Assassin jump delay is delayed to a bit higher. That's interesting. I guess that nerfs the assassins a bit. Although maybe it also means that champions have more time to move out, so that the assassins can, like, find space to move and then kill everyone, so it might actually be a buff. I'm not sure what I think about this yet, or how it changes things. Alright, let's talk about the champions. Camille attack damage 50 to 55. Okay, that's not bad. Camille was never terrible. The problem is she just doesn't fit into too many comps, and so it's hard to fit her into many comps, basically. But buffing her seems good. Elise Spiderling attack damage 50 to 60. I think that makes Elise a lot stronger. Like, the thing is, shapeshifters are already very strong. Does the increase of delay mean that Blitz might be able to hook an assassin before jumping? I don't think so, no. I don't think that would be the case. Because assassins start the round off as invisible, if I'm correct. Elise Spiderling attack damage 50 to 60. Yeah, I think this is actually pretty big. Especially since shapeshifters are so meta right now, and that the, like, shapeshifters are like one of the S tier traits, basically. So buffing Elise definitely means that she's going to have a lot more playability and be used as an early game shapeshifter, and it's going to make the transition into late game shapeshifters smoother too. So this is kind of scary, actually. I think Elise might be really strong now, actually. Especially since people take extra damage from Spiderlings. Graves armor 20 to 30. That's also really big buff. Like, they increase it by 10. It's like 1/3 of his armor has been increased. So I don't play Gunslingers much, but Gunslingers have started to gain some presence in the meta recently with that 4 Gunslinger 6 Blade Master build, and this is a buff to that, and that build has been quite good. So I definitely think this could help that build even more, and Graves could see more playability. Cast an 80. decrease by 5. Yeah, he needed a decrease, but I don't think this is enough to actually make the Void Assassin build not viable. So I think that is basically, not very good. That Void Assassin build is the most unfun build in the game. It is unfun to play against, and it is unfun to play as. It's very boring to actually play as. You do exactly the same. You have a few specific rounds you need to roll at, basically, and level at, and that's about it. And it's just toxic to the game, and I think they should have gutted it. This minor Kassadin nerf will not change the Void Assassin build almost at all, and it's still going to be one of, well, maybe the strongest build in the game when it comes online. Kha'Zix starting mana, 0-50 to 0-65. Okay, that's yeah, that's something for sure. It's gonna mean Kha'Zix is much weaker as an early game champion, and actually, I kind of don't like that too much. Like, the thing is, I like to use Kha'Zix as an early game carry, and then transition, and just use him as an item holder and transition into something else, and it feels like that won't be possible anymore, and it feels like they wanted to nerf Kha'Zix, like the Void Assassin build, by nerfing Kha'Zix, but I think they should have nerfed Kassadin much more, actually. Wouldn't it be gutted by not being able to pick up a spatula first round? Yeah, that's one way, but they could have done other things, like just nerf Kassadin at 3-star damage a lot. Like, they could have just made 3-star Kassadin much weaker, or like, make 2-star Kassadin much weaker in general. Crit less, stuff like that, rather than making spatula chances different. I don't think they should get rid of spatula totally from the first round. There's a lot of really cool stuff you can do with spatula. It just, Void Assassin build is kind of toxic to the game, that's all. Tier 2, Pyke starting mana 75 to 50. Whoa, that's a big nerf. Like, they keep nerfing Pyke every single patch. And, Pyke used to be one of the best champions in the game, but they nerf him every single patch. Now it's like, Pyke is just becoming really bad as a champion. I feel like Pyke... It was already really close last patch between Pyke and another assassin to use as your third assassin in, like, Rengar comps or Ninja's assassins or something. Now I think Pyke should almost never be that third assassin or sixth assassin with this change. So that's pretty big change. Pretty unfortunate that Pyke has been nerfed consistently every patch, basically. It's because Pyke is so broken with a couple of tiers. Yeah, but now he needs 3 tiers. So that's not really cool. Twisted Fate health, 450 to 500. Oh, they buffed him. Twisted Fate blue card mana, 20, 35, 50, 30, 50, 70. So right now, Twisted Fate is the better pirate than Pyke after these changes. I feel like Twisted Fate is way better. And so I would look to... if you want to go pirates, I would rather pick Twisted Fate than Pyke, basically, from now. Yeah, I'd rather just use Twisted Fate than Pyke as a third pirate if I had to choose between them. And also, like, Twisted Fate looks like he could be a pretty strong champion in general. Just to put into, like, Sorc comps or whatever. So, maybe instead of using Morgana in that Shapeshifter build I made a guide on before, you could use TF, it would be more viable now. It seems like a good option. I was already enjoying Twisted Fate before in that build. The fact that he got buffed makes it even stronger. Evelynn Execute Threshold 65 to 50. No one was playing Evelynn anymore at the end of the patch, and so I think Evelynn is just completely dead now. Nobody's going to use Evelynn anymore. Evelynn Execute Multiplier 357 to 345. Okay, yeah, again, I don't think anyone will play Evelynn anymore. Katarina Mana, 0 out of 100 to 0 out of 85. This means TF is instantly able to pick a card again after he picked up a blue card. That would be pretty cool if that's what it means. Yeah, TF is going to be pretty strong now. Katarina Mana, 0 out of 100 to 0 out of 85. They're making Katarina more useful. She is kind of just there right now as someone who completes the Assassin or Imperial synergy, so making her more useful could be good. Maybe we'll start to see some people put items on her now more and start to use her as a carry more. That would be interesting. They nerfed Eve too much? I agree, yeah, they did. She didn't, I don't think she even needed to be nerfed, really. Like, she was already unused at the end of the last patch. Everyone ended up building dragons or Dragon's Tooth. Akali ability damage, 150, 275, 400 to 200, 350, 500. This seems really big as a buff, I think. That seems like a huge buff, and that definitely makes Akali stronger again, and it definitely means, like, maybe you might want to watch out for a lot of builds, including Akali. Ninja's Elementals definitely seem like they could be back with that, with Akali as a carry. It's not like Ninja's Elementals was weak. I've been using that build quite often if it was given to me. And from patch to patch, that's kind of like a build I do when I don't know, when I haven't figured out the meta yet. So I definitely think, like, this is going to be really impactful on her, and you could even just see, like, solo Akalis in a lot of comps just for the ninja trait or something. So yeah, I think Akali could be very strong here. Anivia ability duration, 800 damage over 8 seconds, 800 damage over 6 seconds. So they made the damage the same, but they decreased the duration. Okay, I'm not actually sure if that will change too much. To be honest, after the Lissandra buffs, I just don't see any use in ever using Anivia unless you want to get another Glacial. I would never put an Anivia 1 over Lissandra 2 in any single situation, and they would need to change a lot for me to want to put an Anivia over Lissandra 2. Pantheon health, 1000 to 850. Pantheon really needed that, but the thing is, like, Pantheon still has a Morello's on him. I don't know why they created a champion that has a healing debuff inbuilt in them, and it's a gigantic healing debuff as well. So, I don't know. That seems kind of like Pantheon is still going to be really strong and really busted. I don't know if this will make him not OP, but I think he's still going to be one of the most powerful champions in the game. Pantheon attack damage 80 to 75. Yeah, as long as Pantheon has that Morello's in his kit, he's going to have some use in a team. Like, there can be a lot of games where you just don't have a Morello's or a red buff, and you need some kind of healing debuff. Pantheon will be used for that all the time. Okay, items. BF Sword AD decrease. That's interesting. Okay. I mean, it was the most popular item last patch. Easier to get Panth 2 now with Nico. That's true, yeah. Frozen Heart debuff duration, 2.875 seconds to 4 seconds. Wait, what does this mean? Like, it's gonna affect the person for 4 seconds now instead of 2.875? Damn, that's pretty big change. That's a really big change, actually. And I think Frozen Heart was already a decent item, but now it's going to be an even more decent item, and it can be so good on, like, assassins in particular, especially someone like Pyke, but Pyke got nerfed. So it might be better on someone else. So, but I definitely, like, someone like Vi, someone who moves around the map a lot, basically. It's going to be really good as an item, I think, now. That's why they nerfed Pike? It might be, yeah. But I feel like, okay, maybe if you get Pike, you kind of need to build this on him then. But it would still be a really good item. In general, on it could just even be an in general good item now. Locket, shield amount from 250 for 6 seconds to 300 for 7 seconds. Yeah, okay, they're gonna buff Locket. I guess that's good. It might be a more useful item. Like, Locket has been basically totally unused for the past patch or two. So maybe they're gonna make it where, like, maybe now it's gonna be more useful in the late game. You could put it on some frontliners, and yeah, it could help in the late game, I guess. Swordbreaker chance to disarm, 25% chance to disarm for 4 seconds to 33% chance to disarm for 3 seconds. That's going to make it a lot more consistent, and I actually think Swordbreaker has a lot of potential as an item, like, especially in a meta with shapeshifters. Swordbreaker is really good against shapeshifters, so it might be a really good item to build as a counter to shapeshifters, I think. So I would look into this item a bit more, for sure. I think it's got some potential. Zephyr banish duration 5 to 6 seconds. Again, Zephyr is this very situational item that you basically only build in the late game to target like a carry or something. And if you're in that situation, it can be a very good item, but if you're not in that situation, it's always going to be useless. And I don't think this will really change it that much. But if in certain situations, it can be very, very useful. Yeah. Zephyr can be key item to decide single fight who gets first, yeah. Bug fixes. Morgana's ability will now work consistently on isolated summoned minions and neutral monsters. Okay, that's good. Zeke's Herald and Locket of the Iron Solari will no longer give buffs to the... Okay, well, that's also good. Kha'Zix's ability now always deals true damage if 3 Void is active. Well, that's scary. So Kha'Zix got buffed in this way, and yeah, so that's why Void Assassins is still viable. I really think they needed to nerf Void Assassins a lot more than they did this patch. Luden's Echo now properly hits the main target of an ability. That's very good. It means the item will be playable again finally. It was a good item before, so I hope it can get back to that state. Camille ability. Eve will no longer be able to escape the root using her ability. Okay, I didn't know about that. That's a good bug fix. Camille ability. Shyvana will now dash in place, even rather than lose all her mana without transforming. Also good. Pantheon and Vi will not cast the abilities while rooted. Okay, cool. Frozen Mallet tooltip now properly reflects the extra health it grants. Okay, that's good. Dawkins tooltip, okay. Grief's wounds now properly state that they reduce healing by 80% rather than 100%. Okay, yeah. Okay, these are just tooltip fixes. Those are all good. Demons will not gain mana through their trait if mana locked. Okay, basically all the bug fixes are just bug fixes, and that's all really good. Like, the Kha'Zix thing is actually the main thing that I don't like too much, because just the Void Assassins was so broken, and this won't make it any better. Brand, its ability was bouncing 2 more times than intended. Yeah, that was really bad. So it's good that they fixed that. Brand won't be super overpowered now with Morellos, and I guess now you don't need to build Morellos on him as much, and you can build Morellos on others. Fixed a bug where Rek'Sai was healing for half of the intended amount. Okay, well, yeah, okay, Void got buffed. They didn't buff Void Assassins, guys. They didn't nerf Void Assassins. They buffed Void Assassins just by fixing the bugs. Imagine that they nerfed Cassian AD by only 5, but they fixed their bugs, so Void Assassins just got buffed. Oh, that's terrible. Alright, new soundtrack. Teamfight Tactics. Okay, I don't care about the new soundtrack. Great. Let's try and make a summary. Overall, I think that Void Assassins got buffed, and they will be even more, or just as annoying as before, basically, which is not good. They are just toxic to the game. What else? That new item, Neeko's what's it called? Neeko's Helper. Neeko's Help is very, very powerful, and I would be praying to get as many of those items as possible. Like, it's gonna enable you to get an early 2-star unit of whatever you want, like early 2-star Draven, early 2-star Brand, early 2-star Asol, early 2-star Gnar. It's gonna help in that, and it's gonna be so important for that. Early 2-star like Yasuo or whatever, or it can help you get like 3-star of some important units too. So I think Neeko's Help could really be one of the strongest items in the game right now. Round level timings are a bit different because of this, and yeah, you're gonna have to level like 1 or 2 rounds after than usual, but you need to just check your amount of gold. But it's basically gonna make it so that you level up slower. So it's gonna it's gonna make like early game and mid game teams stronger in general, and like it's gonna be harder to get to that late game, which was already happening. Like, it's already hard to get those nobles comps and stuff, basically. Yeah, people are staying at level 4 longer now, so it's gonna be harder to like get to level 8 comps. It's gonna be harder to get those late game comps, so it's gonna be harder to get like noble comps and stuff, but maybe Neeko's Help can make up for it, because it's going to be easier to 2-star champions. So maybe econ management will be different, and it's going to be more important. You can stack more gold now and hyper roll for Void Assassin or Gunslingers. Exactly, yeah. Alright, cool. Well, I guess that's going to be it for the patch rundown, and let's keep playing some games.